Hello, hello, JJ DiGeronimo, and this is a super special kickoff for me. I have my dear friend, lifelong friend with me, Sharon Ashcraft. Hi, Sharon.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
So this is kind of interesting. This is not something, that fits perfectly into any box. Sharon and I were talking probably 4 years ago now about going through the change of life and how so many of us women are depleted in some nutrients and vitamins and just things that we have relied on for years to keep our bodies at optimal production. And now that we get older, we have to replenish things in our body for us to still work at the same pace or at the same focus level. And I think for me as a light worker, I'm finding that this is even more important because the more work I do with light workers and community hosting retreats, I'm realizing that I need to take better care of myself. And so Sharon and I talk often, and she had suggested this probably 18 months ago. Like, JJ, let's have call, let's sit down and talk about what you're taking every day. What are you using on a regular basis so that you can really replenish the nutrients you need to work at the pace and have the impact you want to have. And so during the holidays, we were chit-chatting, and I'm like, wouldn't it be great if we could just share this with more people? So instead of us just talking on the phone in between meetings or in our cars or before we go to bed, bringing this to you to get in on the conversation, hear about some of the things that Sharon uses. And that she recommends to many of her clients. So I'm super excited to introduce Sharon to you. In my opinion, she is just an amazing soul, but she's also holds a lot of ancient wisdom, and she is my medicine woman.
I have been around for a long time, so I am kind of ancient.
Ancient, yes, she's an ancient woman to me, but she has ancient wisdom, and she's a medicine woman, and she knows things that I will never know. And I love talking to her about ailments, symptoms, but also about replenishing what so many of us have lost over the years. And so, Sharon, I could not be more honored that you're here with us today.
I'm so happy to be here. So happy.
So, Sharon, I want to just tell you a little bit about her before we get started, and I want you, Sharon, to kind of fill in. But Sharon is part of nature. She is part of Gaia. She spends a lot of time in her garden. She creates her own food. She creates her own dog food. She creates her own herbs and tinctures. She creates her own fire cider. Her life is all about using Mother Nature in a way to heal and rejuvenate herself. And
And
I'm
I think
just really excited.
it's honoring Mother Nature to be able to do that.
Yeah. So tell me what that means to you. What does honoring Mother Nature mean to you?
Honoring Mother Nature to me means being able to use everything that Mother Nature gives us to its best ability. So whether it's the herbs or flowers, tinctures, whatever it is, the soil, everything that Mother Nature provides, if I'm able to find a way to incorporate that into my life, I feel that that's honoring Mother Nature. So it's
Mm.
very important to me that I utilize every part that I possibly can.
And that's why we named it Roots, Remedies, and Ancient Wisdom, because this conversation really doesn't have a playbook. This is Sharon and I talking about life, talking about our bodies, talking about natural remedies that we can use, depending on if we're in the summer or winter, or maybe we're transitioning through fall. And I'm really looking forward to having this call with all of you. So you can add posts, you can comment, you can ask questions. Sharon, I am lucky enough to talk to Sharon multiple times a week. And so having her to share with all of you and her wisdom is so joyful for me. And honestly, I will have these recordings for years to come that I can reference and go back to. So I'm super happy to have this time with you, Sharon.
I'm so happy to be able to share the time with you. That's another way of honoring Mother Nature.
Hmm. So how did you get this wisdom? When I talk to you literally about what something my kids are going through or a family member, you know, you pause and then you say, well, they should take blah, blah, blah. So where did you get this knowing of what to use when?
Wow. It's probably been, it's been over 40 years, 40 going on 50 years. I actually was very ill and just couldn't stand taking all the different medications and things that I was given. And I went to an iridologist, even though I didn't even know at the time what an iridologist was. Someone had said I should try it. So I tried it and it just clicked instantly. The whole thing clicked. As soon as she started telling me things, she didn't know anything about me. And she started telling me different things about my body. And I realized that she could see these things just from reading the fibers in my eyes. So I was instantly hooked at that moment. And I went home, I threw away all the medications. I decided I was going to take herbs. I didn't realize that Mother Nature was trying to give me a big hug and help me out and, take me on my journey. But I had a lot of faith in it. I believed in it. And within 2 weeks, I noticed a huge, huge difference in my body, my mind, how I felt, what I was able to eat, everything. There was a huge shift in my health. So that's what started it. And then I was like a sponge. I couldn't get enough of it. I started trying to learn different modalities, different ways of healing, things that were good for your body. And I was a little overwhelmed in the beginning because I was like an infant trying to take in, this huge world of health and wellness. So it took a long time, lots of different avenues to learn, talking with different people, working with different people, listening intently to people who were healers and things that they did, and then kind of gathering things myself and putting things together. And over the course of 45, 50 years, it just evolved into what it is.
Well, I think that's important because I'd love to share a little bit. And, we were kind of talking, I'm like, I kind of want to share who you are so they can get a perspective, the depth of your knowledge. You have worked with, medicines and natural medicines, natural roots, natural remedies for a long time. But like just before 9 o'clock in the morning, you have already done so many things to really take care of yourself and boost your immune system. So could you just share a little bit of light onto like what do you do before 9 a.m.?
Well, usually start out somewhere around 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the winter. In the summer, it starts out around 4:30. But I like to do a little quiet meditation time. And in the background, if you can hear my dog.
These are your dogs, your rescue dogs. I mean, she has 2 huskies she's rescued.
And wanting a lot of attention right now because I haven't been home today. But I take them on a walk first thing in the morning. Stop, Tucker. I take them on a walk first thing in the morning, and that rejuvenates my soul for the day. It gets me jump started. I, notice the sun when it's coming up. I look at the squirrels and Mother Nature. I usually see deer. So all of that, I'm taking all that in and, bringing in the positivity into my system for the day. Then I come back and I do, I like to have, I'm pretty regular with liking to have the same thing for breakfast. I like to do oatmeal with blueberries and pecans and chia seeds and flax meal. And we can talk about why I chose those things on another call, but that gives me some different types of vitamins and minerals. So that's a good start to the day. And then I'm also, I feed the dogs and I sit down, and when I'm having my oatmeal, I like to take what I consider my essential vitamins for the day. So for me, it's like 4 different things that I make sure I take. And then because when we're brought into the world, we do have some genetic issues. We can have genetic issues. And even though we can alter them and change them somewhat, we still have those things that we're predispositioned to have. And so we need to sometimes address those. So those things I take care of first thing in the morning, so I don't have to think about it. And then,
okay, so let's hold on. So let's regroup. So you meditate, you go for a walk in nature, you get connected to nature, and then you start with oatmeal and you start with really organic food, right? It
Yes,
seems.
all organic. Yes, I should have said that, but I'm so used to just knowing that. Definitely anything with your berries, you want to do organic because berries are sprayed heavily with different pesticides. We'll talk about this too on a call, but they're on the Dirty Dozen. The EWG, the Environmental Work Group, puts out a wonderful list, and a new one will come out somewhere in March. So very soon we'll be getting the new one. And it gives you the 12 highest sprayed foods or vegetables, fruits and vegetables. So definitely the organic blueberries for lots of different reasons. One, it helps with the pancreas to filter things out, but it's also a really high antioxidant. So that's one of the reasons I like to incorporate that. So I try to do certain things every day. When I eat for a reason. I treat my body as a temple. So I want to take food in that has a purpose. So it's not, just random, I'll have this morning, or toast with butter, or any of that kind of thing. I like to eat with a purpose.
So one of the things that I think are super important for this, and one of the reasons I wanted to share it with people, is that there's so many people that are doing for others, whether you're taking care of other people, emotionally supporting other people, or you're a practitioner or a coach, and you really need to take care of your vessel. So many of us that have been chosen to really use our light in ways that help others illuminate their light, we have to really think of ourselves as that vessel that Sharon mentioned and think about how are we filling that vessel. Now, Sharon is awesomely lucky. She lives by herself and she gets to kind of really pick and choose what she eats. Not everybody has that luxury. Some of us have young kids, some of us are living in places that we are not close to vitamins or fresh food. So I think as we go through this series, it's important to pick and choose things that you can do and really think about things that can help you. And I think we were talking about earlier today that I just get confused on all the different magnesiums, or I get confused on what to do when do I take vitamin B, or is there benefit to the Bach remedies, and how do I actually use all that is available in a way. And I hope that this series of roots, remedies, and ancient wisdom for lightworkers and healers gives us a place to answer these questions, to dive into different pieces of information that's out there so that we can determine what is best for us to use. So I feel like there's so many things that we could cover today, but really, I hoped, the benefit of me, thanks so much, Mariah, is that we just have a place to come and ask these questions. I see so many charts on Instagram and other places that I'll definitely use, what does this mean, Sharon? What is that? But I think, Sharon, if you had to give advice of something, I'd love to, if you have to give advice to people, obviously it's very customized. So, anyone can reach out to Sharon directly. But the point is really I want to kind of break down what are things I should be doing after the age of 50 that are going to benefit me in a way that I can't get from my food.
So you want me to tell you what I think you need to do, or?
I do, but we can't put it all today. But I guess that's really why we started to talk and why we're bringing this to all of you, because I think it's easy to say, okay, we definitely want to pick fruits and vegetables and things that are going to help us. If we have the opportunity to buy organic, whether it's at Trader Joe's or online or locally, that's obviously beneficial. But as Sharon mentioned, there's the Dirty Dozen. Those are things you should absolutely buy organic, which we'll talk about in a later episode. But I think as we're kind of thinking about the next few discussions, what are some of the things that you want to cover, Sharon?
Anything and everything. I think there's so
Yes.
much to learn and so much to discuss. Everybody needs to be responsible for themselves, but at the same time, not to feel overwhelmed. So you don't want to make a huge list and say, I'm only going to eat organic. I'm only going to do this. I'm only going to do that, because you're really setting yourself up for failure. So you need to really do a deep reflection and think, what am I unhappy about? Or what health issue is going on with me? And then maybe the basics. Start with the very basics of, do I get enough sleep? Do I hydrate enough? Am I eating a nutritious diet, or am I not eating enough, during the day? Am I even thinking about whether I'm having protein or carbs? Just being really aware and trying to stay in a positive mind frame that affects our digestive system in a huge way. So just, relaxing a little bit, making sure we're doing the basics, and then looking at the target symptoms of things that maybe, because we're over 50, that have started to deteriorate a little bit. Or maybe, like I said, those genetics are going to come into play a little more. You're going to pop up seeing some of those genetic issues that our parents had or our grandparents had. So those are some things that you might want to target. So if you were to add vitamins and minerals, supplements, whatever, tinctures, whatever you're going to add into your system, those would be the things that you want to target. That's where.
And I want to kind of go, on my Instagram page, I've been saving all of these graphics because I have so many questions, but I don't know what I should be using at my age. Like, I just don't know. And I up to this point, my kids have taken, I'm working, my kids, I really haven't made the time to figure out what is the right mix of vitamins for me. Should I be doing milkshakes, or should I be doing, powders and all of that stuff? So I'm really looking forward to having this time together to just talk through things. And hopefully the listeners will send us a note and ask what they're interested about, because I feel like it's really challenging right now to figure out, okay, obviously I'm through menopause right now, so my body's acting totally different than it did a decade ago. And so what should I be doing for that? And then what do I do to be a light worker and basically a supporter of energies of other people? Like, how do I keep myself whole? And I think eating is so important, is being mindful eating. So I think between now and our next call, it would be great for people to just kind of be mindful. What are you eating? What are you reaching for? Are you reaching for more salt or more chocolate? Or are you reaching for more carbs? Or, are you drinking more sodas? So just being mindful of what you're eating and what you're craving.
And it's also really overwhelming if you go to a pharmacy or, a drugstore, wherever you buy your supplements and or Whole Foods, wherever you go, you go to the aisle and you're looking, and it's overwhelming. There's 5 different kinds of this. There's 12 different kinds of minerals, 12 different kinds of vitamins. You have no idea which way to go. And like you said, age appropriate. There are some that will say 40 and over, so they help you out a little bit, so they know that there's extra things in there. But also something that we'll touch on is the big difference of synthetic vitamins versus whole food vitamins. That's really important. So that's something that we can talk about in one of our sessions.
So you're saying not all vitamins are equal?
Absolutely not. They're so different. You'll notice some have a lot of fillers, a lot of coloring, dyes, all kinds of different things. And you think about it, what is that going to benefit to the body? Where in the body does talc belong? Where in the body does yellow number 5 belong? It doesn't. So those are really important things that you want to think about. If you're going to, decide you're going to take a supplement or a vitamin, you want to make sure you're going to get a really good one. That's something that's actually going to benefit the body and do what it's supposed to do it what you want it to.
Oh, interesting. And then we have a comment too. So my body is my radar, discussing high frequency foods. Is it just fruits and greens, or what are high frequency foods, like things that really energize you and give you more alignment with Mother Nature and maybe what's above?
I think that's going to be a whole session in itself. We can even do that next, but that's something I can't give you a quick answer to.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's write that down. I think that's a great comment. And this is really what I'm hoping is that we come together for the people that are interested and say, yeah, these are my questions because I obviously have questions on a lot of vitamins. You know, vitamins are often pushed to us a lot of times or synthetic supplements, which I am not doing. I refuse to do. I really feel like, to your point earlier, our body is like the only body we get. So we have to be very careful what we put into it.
And as we age, we think about that even more, because if we're
Mhm.
50 years old or 60 years old, like for me, I'm close to 70. I've already lived more than half of my, I mean, I'm not going to live another 70 years unless I'm going to be in the Guinness Book of Records. But, so we are more mindful and we do need to think about, and the high frequency foods that's an important one. Also, just knowing when to eat certain foods or what types of foods to pair together or certain types of foods that you don't want to pair together. Because some can contain something like, for instance, oxalates. So if you pair too many of them together, your body starts being depleted of certain
Mm.
enzymes. So it's kind of tricky in a way. You really have to know which foods to pair together, because you could pair all kinds of foods together that maybe shouldn't be, but they're all healthy foods. But you just want to know what time of the day to eat those foods. And like even seasonal foods, that makes a difference too. What type of foods you eat, what season is going on. Do you
That's
have
amazing.
a question?
Yeah, just all hearts. All
Oh,
hearts. Like love it, love it, love it. So this is great. So really our goal today was just to introduce Sharon, which I'm so honored you're here. I met Sharon when I was 14, I believe, or 15. And she has really been a guiding light for me in so many ways, especially in the spiritual space. And I know we talked a lot about vitamins today and foods and what we're going to discuss, but I feel like we all have people that we come down with. And so that Sharon is part of my soul family. And I feel like I would be very disappointed if I didn't capture some of her wisdom and knowledge in the work that I'm doing, because not only can I benefit, but you can benefit too. And
and
I'm
it
super
benefits
honored
me
you're with
too
us.
because I'm honoring Mother Nature.
I love it. So it's really triangulating on this information in a way that can share it with many. So, Sharon, thank you so much for joining us today. And we will see you in 2 weeks, which we are going to focus on, as Mariah mentioned, discussing high frequency foods.
Yes, that's a good start. Thank you
I love it.
very much.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a special edition, and we look forward to seeing you here and on the YouTube channel Together We Seek. So, with that, we're signing off, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.